We all spend a considerable amount of our lives at work. It needs to feel right. And if there's a disconnect between those values of the individual and the organization, then it's not going to feel right. And then that's where sometimes unwanted churn can happen.
Absolutely, I agree. I mean, I think that fit to culture is key for the sort of successful longevity of the placement. And as you say, that sort of future growth and development of that person within the organization that they're placed into. And so how do you then, obviously if you place this as central importance as exec search consultants within the process, how do you talk me through on the candidate side? You talked about the time you spend with the client, understanding their values and their culture, their ethos. How do you then extract that from the candidate? How do you understand, to make that match and that fit? How do you understand the candidate's values?
So that does come through our screening process and our interview process as well. We try to understand what makes each candidate tick, what their values are. And our screening and selection process is quite detailed. So, we would have a very in-depth interview with every candidate. We would ask them to complete an achievements document, which is related to the role. And actually at the back of that achievements document, we always ask them to describe their personal achievements in life. And that's where you can really start to see something perhaps that's different about an individual. And I've seen some fascinating responses to that personal achievements page. Sometimes it's charity work, sometimes it's, they were sent to market, they needed to do a crash course in the language. I've seen a variety of different things, but it tells you something more about that candidate depending on how they answer it. So that's certainly very useful. And then the other tools that we use in that is the psychometric assessment. We place a lot of stock in that. It's not just the psychometric assessment, but we use it as part of perhaps a further stage in the process to maybe probe certain areas that we think could be misaligned with the culture or the fit of the organization. Like we use the tool, the OPQ32 from SHL. And it's a very, very descriptive tool in terms of probing certain areas. And there has been occasions when we have seen extremities in that profile. And one of the things I would always do with a client is if I see something I'm not comfortable with, I point it out. And we put that on the table, and we've had to have conversations with candidates around certain dimensions and concerns. And the client has gone ahead and recruited, but everyone has done it with their eyes wide open. It's worked. But if you didn't point that out, then I'm not sure that would work. So for me, it's the transparency of the process, it's the rigor of the process. It's not one specific thing, but it's an accumulation of the rigor that we put into the process that gets the outcome that we get in terms of fitting those right candidates to the organization.